I hope you guys have been well. Today is a little bit of a different video. What I and then Samuel will come on later, what we wanted to talk about is basically, when we first got married, we went to California and lived with Samuel's dad and stepmom for the first 6 months of our marriage because we had just gotten out of vet school. It's in another video, I'll link it up above. But we left vet school after completing our first year. And yeah, we were pretty poor, and we could not afford anything. So his dad graciously took us in, and that gave us a landing pad for the first bit of our marriage. And now we're living at Samuel's mom's place, mom and stepdad, out in Arkansas. And it's their country house, as I've said in other videos. I'll link the first tour up here. But yeah, so we're still here we just pay for utilities, but we are not paying for rent. So it's another very soft landing pad for us, which we're so thankful for. And so that obviously speaks a lot about our financial situation. Samuel's working construction, but it's a bit on and off with the type of work it is. But hopefully by the grace of God, he'll start Bible work soon, which that's just our whole goal, is just to be able to serve God in everything we do. But it's also within our beliefs with God is that our body is a temple and to take care of it. So we try to eat as healthy as we can. And so we were just chatting with some church friends the other day, and they said, "Do you guys eat only organic?" And we said, "Yep." And they said, "How do you do that? It's so expensive." And we're also plant-based as well, which some people think that's very expensive, but that's really only super expensive if you're buying like the fake meat and the ice cream, vegan ice cream and all that stuff. That stuff gets expensive, but we try not to do that stuff. A lot of the fake meat has yeast extract, which is a code word for MSG, especially during pregnancy, good to stay away from. But just in all cases, honestly, it's pretty hard on the body. Another word for MSG is natural flavorings. It doesn't always mean MSG, but it can mean MSG. But anyhow, and so yeah, to eat vegan, to eat plant-based, I don't think it's that expensive. To eat all organic can get very expensive. So the question is, how are we doing it? And as we put in the title, our budget is about $350 a month. And so, yeah, I just thought that we could share this today to hopefully help other people, maybe in a similar situation. So first I'll talk about why we eat organic. The reason we do organic, obviously it's not sprayed as much. Now, I know that a lot of people will use the argument or say that organic still has pesticides on it. That may be true. I know I've seen both sides of it, but it's still a lot less. However, the biggest reason that we eat organic is when you use things like Roundup or things when you use pesticides, basically, they're finding that it depletes the nutrients of the soil, actually. And so what you're eating has so little nutrients in it that you can eat big salads and all this stuff and you're still not getting the minerals that they would have gotten hundreds of years ago. Now, even with organic, the soil is still very depleted, but it's in a lot better state. Also, they found, I think with Roundup, that it was causing babies to be born with like missing limbs and stuff like that. So yeah, some of those harsh pesticides are really scary. So I tried to do organic, but then when I became pregnant, we really were like, the only time we don't do organic is at like potluck at church, or if somebody else, like family or friends cook, or we go out to like eat, which isn't that often. But yeah, so that's why just a few reasons why we do organic. There are some definitely more comprehensive videos out there about it, but that's just our take on it. And so, yeah, where to start? So basically we found that buying bulk is the way to go. And the best thing that you can eat if you're plant-based or even if you're not is legumes. So that's all your beans and your peas and things like that. And when you buy bulk, it is so much cheaper by the pound. So we found sites like Azure. We're not sponsored by any of these. We're just hoping to share and help other people. But Azure Standard is really good. I'll link them below. They're kind of funny. You'll put something in your shopping cart and then it might not come when you go to, and they'll give you your money back. But you have to be careful with that. You have to constantly check your cart leading up to the cutoff date to see if the thing is going to be in stock or not. And if it's not, then you go replace it with a lesser or a higher amount or a different product. And then we also use AncientGrains, and we do that for our spelt berries and our einkorn flour. And then we go to Costco, and we do buy a Costco membership. And yeah, things are just so much cheaper at Costco. Sometimes things are cheaper at Costco than they are on Azure Standard. But Azure Standard is pretty much all organic, so that's really amazing. And then Costco, depending where you are, has good organic. It was much better in California, obviously, than Arkansas, but we can still find enough things. And I know that there's Sam's Club out here, but we've not tried that. We might look into it in the future. But yeah, so when we buy from Azure Standard, that's where we typically get our bulk legumes. So I have buckets here, and these are food safe storage buckets. And we will buy enough to fill up 1 or 2 buckets. So this is, and I have a video when we first got our bulk spelt berries. It was very exciting, and I'll link it up here. These are our organic spelt berries. And we've bought, I don't remember, we bought tons of spelt berries, so many pounds. And then here we have rice from Costco, organic. We found a bulk organic white rice. This is black beans that we found on Azure Standard. We got, and this is all organic, cornmeal as well. And then we buy our nuts, we buy our seeds off of Azure Standard because it's cheaper, and store them in, if not in the mason jar because these are expensive, we store them in Mylar bags. And Mylar bags are supposed to be like, people use them like to store food in their bunkers and stuff like that. It's supposed to last for forever. So we use Mylar bags as well. But however, nuts are actually cheaper at Costco, so we buy bulk nuts there. And then chia seeds are actually cheapest at Walmart. So you just have to really shop around. And then this was amazing. This is a really good organic olive oil. It's really nice. It's from Tunisia or Tunis. And yeah, it was at Costco, and it was cheaper than the plastic clear bottles. I don't know why. Maybe I should research it more. But yeah, we get good olive oil as well. And for oils, we use just olive oil and coconut oil. We found that those are the best for you. And I don't typically cook with oil because it makes it carcinogenic. I cook with water usually. But if I bake every once in a while, I will cook with olive oil, especially for a pie crust. And then we buy our organic soy milk from Walmart, actually. Yeah, it's cheaper there. And this is not refrigerated. It's you get it in the whatever aisle. And then we buy to supplement. We'd like to just do the organic soy milk because soy is so good for you with the phytoestrogens. It helps prevent cancer. There's been a lot of misconceptions around that. But we try to keep the cost down. So to do that, at Costco, we buy bulk organic unsweetened almond. And they do have soy milk at Costco, but it's not very clean. This one, for example, we always look at the ingredients. It's only water and soybeans. Those are the only ingredients, which is amazing. And this is the only milk at Costco that we found that doesn't contain sugar. and that is cleaner than others. It still has quite a few ingredients, but it doesn't have sugar and it doesn't have MSG or anything like that. So we supplement with this, and then every once in a while we might buy coconut milk as well. And yeah, so what we do every week is I'll prepare like 2 nights beforehand. I'll soak beans, whether it's chickpeas. Right now we have chickpeas for legumes, red lentils, yellow lentils, white lentils, the black beans, and I think that's it for right now for legumes. Yeah. And we also buy grains either from AncientGrains, like millet we buy from AncientGrains, or we get grains like the quinoa we get from Costco. And Azure Standard has grains as well. But yeah, so I'll soak the beans like 2 nights beforehand, and then that next day I will slow cook them. And what I do when I cook my beans, because a lot of people worry about lectins, and that's what can cause gas, it can cause stomach upset, and lectins are not good for you. So you soak them to help prevent lectins, and then the next day you slow cook them. And what you do is you rinse the beans 2 to 3 times during the cooking process. You'll see when you cook the beans, all this white foam come up, and that's the gas. That's what causes, beans, the wonderful fruit. The more you eat, the more you toot. But that's not actually true if you cook them the proper way. So yeah, I rinse them when the white foam first starts coming off. I give it a rinse, add new water, start to boil again, and then I let it cook for longer, rinse again, and then I might rinse one more time at the end. Sometimes I only do 2 rinses, just depending on how much foam is coming up. And then I'll prepare a meal with it, and I meal prep that night for the next morning, because Samuel and I eat savory breakfasts. So we eat legumes for breakfast and lunch, and then for dinner we typically eat fruit or something light. The reason we do that is your metabolism is actually highest in the morning and then drops as the day goes on. And something that can just destroy our bodies is eating a big meal and then going to bed. So we eat things that are super easy to digest and easy on the body before bed. Not always, we're working on it, especially me being pregnant. I eat bigger meals now for the 3rd meal, but typically we eat no 3rd meal or just light fruit. But while I'm pregnant and breastfeeding, I will be eating a 3rd meal. And so, yeah, we try to, and then protein's obviously very important. I just upped my protein, and then I started taking more iron via chlorophyll and blackstrap molasses for the pregnancy, and spirulina. And ever since I started doing that, my hair is growing so fast. I have like little bangs coming in. And so my body's responding, saying, I like this. So yeah, we try to eat lots of protein in that way. We also, from a site called, what is it called? TrueNutrition. From TrueNutrition, we get protein powder, and we'll do protein shakes and put spirulina and moringa and chlorella in there, and we'll make protein shakes that way as well if we don't get enough beans that day, or we just feel like we're needing a little bit more protein. So yeah, that's pretty much how we do it. So, and then what we also do to be able to afford organic is we buy the fruit that's in season. Strawberries are not in season right now, but for some reason organic strawberries are only $3.50 right now at Walmart, which is like such a luxury for us because we just basically live off of bananas. Because that's the cheapest thing is organic bananas, and organic apples are pretty good as well. But we've been doing the organic strawberries the last few weeks, and it's been so cool. We also started a garden, and we didn't buy seedlings, we grew from seed. So, but we honestly don't have a lot coming in from that. So that's not like this big money saver for us for this year, because we are very new to it and we really don't have that much stuff coming. But what we do, So we buy all this bulk stuff. So I have the staples. I have my beans, I have my grains, I have my nuts and the oil and yeah, the Celtic Sea Salt, all this stuff. And then what we do is we go shopping every week. And when we go shopping, we just buy very minimal things. So usually just onions every 2 weeks, or potatoes. I switch off. We always do two sets of bananas for our smoothies and stuff like that. 2 soy milks, and we don't need to buy the almond because we got it from Costco. And then we do always spinach for my pregnancy for the iron, and then one other special vegetable, whatever's there in the organic section at Walmart. And then that's it. We just buy our produce because we have all the bulk ingredients. And that's how we keep our costs down. So we try to keep our once a week Walmart shop less than 30, but sometimes it gets to 40 because we do have big water jugs that we fill up. We get our purified water at Walmart because our water is not good to drink here. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I think that's the trick, is to buy bulk and do it slowly over time. We didn't do it all at once and then we're broke for a while. We first did the spelt and pinto beans, and that was a big buy. And we still have the spelt, and later on we do the black beans, and then we do the cornmeal. So every month at Azure Standard, we buy a few things that are just we're building. And then we go to Costco for the other things that are cheaper there. One more thing that we do at Costco is that's where we get our frozen fruit. We buy bulk frozen fruit there, organic frozen fruit, and that's where we get, because you say, oh, it's not good to just live off bananas. I agree. That's where we get all the other fruits. We do mango, cherries, strawberries, and blueberries. And a few times a week we'll have smoothie bowls. So that's pretty much how we do it. It feels like we're eating in luxury, and by the grace of God, we are. And we have very little money, so God is blessing us. And yeah, I think there is a trick to it. So I check out those sites. Once again, not sponsored by them, but just hoping to share. So we also do Celtic Sea Salt. Celtic Sea Salt is pretty expensive if you buy it ground, but we buy coarse, and it's like half the price depending on where you go if you buy coarse Celtic Sea Salt. And then you just can get a grinder on Amazon. We haven't done that yet, and you can grind it. However, Celtic Sea Salt is very wet, and so it can get stuck in the grinder, so you might have to empty it out and wipe it every once in a while. Or you can just buy the coarse and just use it as is. It'll just be a little bit more of a waste. But we actually bought this from our local health food store, and the course was actually very cheap. But we'll probably start buying it bulk somewhere else. I haven't checked the prices. I don't know where it's cheapest yet. But that's something we always do, is we shop around. The reason we do the Celtic Sea Salt is normal table salt is just NaCl, sodium chloride. And that is really not good on our body. If you inject that straight into your vein, it can kill you. It raises blood pressure. It's all those things. People say low sodium, low sodium. We don't need low sodium. We need we don't need low Celtic Sea Salt. We need low table salt because it is really hard on our body. However, I've talked about it before, back in war times, there's wars going on now. Back in one of the wars, for blood transfusions, they would use seawater because it has all the minerals that we need. It is so good for our body. And the Celtic Sea Salt has magnesium in it that makes it like wet. So if your salt flows freely, it's bleached, it looks very white, it's not Celtic Sea Salt. The Celtic Sea Salt, you can see, it's like sticking to the bottom here. It looks wet. And that's from all the minerals. And this actually lowers blood pressure. So what we do, if you drink a ton of water and then you're running to the bathroom, that's a sign that the water is not getting into your cells. It's just passing right through you. The way it can get into your cells is you need an osmotic pull. osmotic pull. And so the way you do that is what Samuel and I do is we take a little crystal and put it on our tongue, then have a cup of water, and we just have the Celtic Sea Salt throughout the day, and then we cook with it as well. We try not to cook or do anything with the table salt, especially being pregnant, you're at risk for preeclampsia and having high blood pressure. So this helps lower it. It's very good for you and gives you all the minerals that you need. If you're lacking magnesium, you can get magnesium from this. It's just very good for you. So I highly recommend Celtic Sea Salt. And don't get bamboozled by sea salt. We bought sea salt from Costco and I was using it, pouring it on everything. And then I learned that if it's white and if it flows freely, it's probably table salt and they're just tricking us. Another thing they're doing is Himalayan pink salt. They're just labeling things pink salt and they're just dyeing the salt pink. So if you're unsure, you can call the company or look it up and get a complete mineral list. And it should have just so many minerals in it. If it only has an ACL or just a few, you know there's something wrong there. So yeah, that's how we, by the grace of God, can eat very healthy, eat organic, and feel very guilt-free when it comes to our eating for the baby as well, and still do that on a very tight budget. So I'm glad that I got to share this with you guys today. Thank you so much.